cleaned the room. You made the bed, cleared the desk, put everything back where it belongs. But somehow, your studio apartment still feels cramped. And that's because the problem probably isn't clutter. It's not even the size of the room. It's that your bed, your desk, your sofa, and your storage are all fighting for the same space. This is not a small apartment problem. It's a zone problem. So if the room is clean and it still feels crowded, the answer isn't to remove more. It's to give every part of your life a place to belong. And you can do that without building a single wall. Turn the sofa toward the living area. Let the rug create a clear visual boundary. Use a slim, open divider to give the bed a sense of privacy without stealing the daylight. Give the desk its own pool of light. Keep storage close to the door so it doesn't spill back into the room. Nothing bigger, nothing more expensive, just clearer boundaries. Same room, same furniture, but suddenly it feels calmer. Because now your eye knows where one space ends and the next one begins.
So where do you begin?
Not with a wall, not with a divider, and not with more storage. Start with the floor. A rug can tell your eye exactly where the living area begins, but only when it is large enough to hold the furniture together. The front legs of the sofa should sit on the rug, not float somewhere behind it. Then, give the seating a clear direction. Turn the sofa toward the television or the main focal point. Now the furniture no longer feels scattered across the room. It becomes one connected zone. And something subtle happens. The bed begins to feel more separate, not because you hid it, but because the living area finally knows where it belongs. That is the first rule of zoning a small studio. Define the ground, then orient the furniture. No construction, no extra square footage, just one clear boundary your eye can understand. The bed creates a different problem. Because it is the largest object in the room, it can make the entire apartment feel like one oversized bedroom, but you do not need to hide it completely. You only need to interrupt the first direct view. A low open divider works best when it covers the lower half of the bed while leaving the room visually open above. Keep it around 42 to 48 inches high. Anything taller can block daylight and make the room feel divided in the wrong way. And do not push it into the main walking path. Leave at least 32 to 36 inches of clear space beside it. The most useful dividers do more than create privacy. They hold books, baskets, or everyday items without becoming another heavy storage wall. The goal is not to build a room inside the room. It is to make the sleeping zone feel separate without making the apartment feel smaller. The work zone has the opposite problem. It is usually too small to feel like a real place. A desk pushed against the wall can easily disappear into the rest of the room. So give it one clear signal. A focused task light creates a visual boundary without taking up any floor space. Keep the desk surface simple and let the light define where work begins. The entry needs the same kind of discipline. Shoes, bags, keys, and packages should stop at the first landing point. Use one compact bench, a shallow tray, and a few hooks close to the door. If those objects travel deeper into the apartment, they usually end up on the sofa, the desk, or the bed. The goal is simple. Work stays at the desk, and outside clutter stops at the door. Once each part of the room has a place to belong, the apartment becomes much easier to read. But there is one last mistake to avoid. Do not turn every boundary into another piece of furniture. A studio does not need a divider, a cabinet, a different rug, and a new color for every activity. Too many boundaries can make a small room feel even more fragmented. Instead, use the lightest signal that still does the job. A rug may be enough for the living area. A task lamp may be enough for the desk. A shallow bench may be enough for the entry. And beside the bed, one open piece of furniture can provide privacy, storage, and separation at the same time. Then check the two things every small room still needs: a clear path through the space and a clear path for daylight. If a zoning decision blocks either one, it is probably too heavy. Finally, decide which zone should feel most important. In most studios, the living area should lead during the day, while the bed becomes visually quieter in the background. That does not mean hiding the bed, it simply means giving your eye a more intentional place to land. So step back and ask one question. Can I tell what each part of this room is for, without someone explaining it? If the answer is yes, the zoning is working. The apartment is still the same size. The same bed, the same sofa, the same desk, and the same everyday life are still here. But now they are no longer competing. They belong to one room, without all trying to become the room.